One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and my guest today is the American actor, comedian, and writer Brandon Burke. Growing up in the Ozarks, Brendan had an early passion for the arts and spent his formative years taking vocal training and dance classes before moving to LA to pursue acting. After spending 8 years in LA, with a string of TV and short film credits under his belt, Brendan upped sticks and moved to London with his partner. Now in London for nearly 2 years, Brendan has his own show, Never Been Fabulous, as a stand-up comic. This is the Art and Spirituality Show. Let's talk.
Online, on the iOS and Android, on your mobile phones. Great speakers conversation around the globe. This is Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours. And let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
Relaks Radio.
This is the Art and Spirituality Show. You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Dominic Anglim. So good to have you here. And we are joined via phone by a very special guest, American actor and comedian Brandon Burke. Brendan, you're on the air with us.
Well, hi, Dominic. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks a million for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'm always glad to chat a little bit.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I mean, I gather you've been in London now for nearly 2 years. Is that right?
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in January. Moved originally from the Ozarks and then was in California for a while, and moved up with my partner almost 2 years. Yes.
Wow. And how are you liking London life?
Well, I hated it at first.
Good to be honest.
I just didn't get it. You have this idea as an American about what you think London's going to be like, and
Yeah.
it's not how you picture it a little bit. I had no idea. I had some buddies who moved up that lived in Manhattan first, and they had an easier transition making it to London.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was going to be so like multicultural. I had no idea there was going to be, I had my expectations set for how am I going to deal with English people? How am I going to deal with British people? And that's kind of your mindset. And then when you get here, you're just every language, every culture is just coming at you from every corner.
Yeah.
And it's just not something that I had any experience with. Now I feel like I've kind of settled into it a little bit where you're like, yes, I like walking down the street and hearing all these different languages, all the different type of music. And the idea that, I think London actually gets a bad rap. I think the food here is great. You can get any food you want in the world. And I love the weather.
Yeah, I think it kind of grows on you. The weather is a kind of a. I think I actually find the weather in the summer. The weather is quite nice here. It can be quite warm.
Oh yeah, I love
yeah.
it. You hear British people complain about it all the time. They're like, "Oh, it's so hot. It's just so hot. It's just so hot." And then it drops like 3 degrees, and they're like, "Oh, it's freezing outside. It's shitty." I'm like, "Oh, dude, no, this is great weather." And then, because I lived in California, they were like, "But you live, where it's sunny all the time." And I said, "Yeah, and that's a bummer. You don't want it to be sunny all the time, and then you don't really appreciate it. You got to have
Exactly.
clouds every now and then." I like even the weather now. Like I went jogging this morning, and it is the best weather to be if you want to be moody. Like if you're feeling, you know that you know that type of not like full on depression, but like that mid level depression where you like own it, where you're like in it, and you're like you're like grabbing it and enjoying it. That's the weather right now. Like I'm gonna be moody and I'm gonna hang on to it. And there's something fun about that for me.
Well, I think when you have an opportunity to express yourself, especially in comedy, if you are depressed about anything, it kind of lends very well for your routines, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. Here's my favorite thing about London that I found now. It is the night bus at during the week, like after a rain. You sit up there by yourself and daydream, and you get up on the very top. You're sitting up by yourself, and you got to just ignore the guy behind you who's screaming into his microphone. But if you can ignore it, screaming into his phone. But if you can ignore him and you sit up there, that's my favorite thing about London, the night bus.
Yeah, the night bus is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. If you've ever taken a 47 for the whole way, it's about an hour and a half, and you're gonna see some real interesting character cards getting on and off this bus. Just does the whole
40,
route.
You know what? I'm gonna take your advice on that. The 47.
Take the
Here's my idea.
47.
Tell me what you think of this. Tell me what you think. So I picked up the guitar during the first lockdown. Like I've always wanted to play. I'm a big fan of country music. So I picked up the guitar, but I think I should write a country song about the London night bus.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
What bus number is it?
The 47. The 47 for me. I mean, the 47
night bus in London.
Yeah.
All the different characters you meet coming in. Oh, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you do have to actually do the journey, it is quite long. It's an hour and a half, and it's you got to sit through the journey, and it's helpful if you do it in the middle of the night as well, like around 4 a.m. That's when you're gonna get the real. That's when you're gonna get the real interesting people.
Dominic, we're on the same thing. You are smelling what I'm cooking. That is exactly the same thing. Yes, sir.
But let me ask you about your childhood, because I mean, I know that you said that you're originally from the Ozarks. Now, of course, over here in London and in Europe, everyone knows the Ozarks because of the TV show. Is it exactly like that? Is it that type of? I mean, have they kind of embellished it a little bit for the program?
I only got through the first part of season 1.
Yeah,
because it's more fun to watch a show about something that doesn't look like your life. I think it's fun to watch something about somebody else's life.
That's true. That's true.
I think here's what they get right. I think they get it looks like that. It is beautiful. I mean, it is. There's lots of water, and it is green, and it is nice. That what you can't get through, what Netflix hasn't been able to capture, is the humidity.
Yes.
It
and
must the size of the bugs. Yeah. And I don't know if there is that many people in Ozarks that are going to be that capable of being able to count that high, to count that much cash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that might be the one thing that got on that. Yeah.
So I'm curious now. Yeah, did your childhood in the Ozarks, did that have much of an influence on your art nowadays? Do you look back at that time, and do you still write about that time?
Sure, I write mostly about that. Now, if I'm talking about comedy in my stand-up, and then in the physical writing, it is all about that.
Yeah.
So what you and your listeners might be familiar with on the Ozarks is just that area, right?
Yeah.
The lake of the Ozark, right? But the Ozarks extends out. I think it covers 3 different states.
Oh, wow.
And my family had a dairy farm that was in the south end of Missouri, which is the top end of the Ozarks. And the Ozarks goes all the way down into Arkansas, where my mama lives now.
Yeah.
But the dairy farm, so it was just a small little country town, a dairy farm in the middle of nowhere. No neighbors, just a dirt road to our house. And that is what I write. That is what my stand-up is based on. It's what it's like to be gay and living up there and to be around, Baptists and cows and trying to figure yourself out a little bit with nobody to talk to except for a rooster in a barn.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great, though. It's great when you can use your childhood as a well for ideas, and you can keep on going back to it, and it's it's like a comedy bucket of ideas, right? So that's really
Yeah,
good.
and the thing that's interesting about comedy is that there's so many different forms of what comedy is. And when I first threw my hat in the ring, I thought, I can write a joke, right? I could,
Yeah,
write a funny setup and then a punchline or some sort of reversal in there. I can write that, and I started working on that. Then the more I started doing stuff, the ones I like the most are the ones that seem to be just a little more honest. And then that's when I dug into a little bit about, I'm just going to tell my story a little bit, which I've
yeah,
always shied away from.
yeah,
I've always tried to hide that part of me publicly
yeah,
for as long as I could. Especially if you're an actor and you're trying to get work, you want whatever your branding is, whatever your look is, it has to match up. So I just kept things all mentalized, all the different parts of me, the spiritual part, the Christian part of me, the gay part of me, and the actor.
Brendan, I think we lost Brendan there. We were receiving a call, and I think we lost him. Let me see if I can get him back on the line again. Brendan, you back?
Well, back.
Sorry, we were getting a phone call. We were getting a phone call. By the way, folks, if you wanna ask Brendan anything today, for the show, best thing to do is to give us a text message. You can give us a text message on 078 524 73473, and we'll be sure to answer it and not cut off the phone call with Brendan. Sorry about that, Brendan. I accidentally hung up on you there, attempting
I thought,
to.
damn it, I'm just rambling on and on. He's had enough. He's got to take a commercial break or something.
I felt bad. You're like telling me about telling me like interesting information about your childhood, and then the line just goes dead. It's not
What Dominic
not
said?
nice. Not
that
nice.
is the fear. That is the fear. I was like, and I'm not going to share anything like this about myself because people aren't going to like it. And you hung up on me, dude.
Yeah, no, that's pretty terrible. Sorry about that. No, but I think that's great though, and I commend you and I congratulate you for being open about your life and stuff like that. I actually think when you go to a comedy show, I think it's always a lot more interesting when the comedian or comedian is telling you something about their life. I think that's way more interesting than if somebody is telling a surrealist story. Now, I'm not saying surrealist stories aren't fun; they are fun, but it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear a comedian's truth, I think.
Yeah, the thing is, I like them both. I like the good puns. I like ones that are just kind of silly. I like the ones that are just doing clever jokes. I like them, and I like the ones where you can learn a little bit about them. There's so many different ways to go about it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I do like that. I like to hear about some of these different culture and their ideas, and as long as they got the jokes in there, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. They gotta get the jokes in there because otherwise it's just somebody talking.
Right.
But tell me, when did you leave Ozarks and when did you move? Because you moved with your family, right? You moved to Bakersfield, I think you were saying.
Yeah, I did. I moved to Bakersfield. So I'm not sure if you're familiar. Are you familiar with John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So if anybody's listening and it doesn't, it's that time where after the Dust Bowl, the Great Depression, you had this great migration of people from Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, all those areas that moved out west to California. And they picked up farming there. They were able to continue the farming in some rich land that would produce. So since you had that migration there, from that time on, you have generations of people who now have some sort of roots there. They have cousins, they have aunts or uncles who live there.
Yep.
So you have this migration that still continues even to this day of people moving back and forth. And then in the early 70s, when I was just a little one, my mama made that trip, and she'd make that trip back and forth. So we went back and forth from the dairy farm to Bakersfield, back to the dairy farm over and over again.
Yeah. And so when you actually started venturing into LA for the acting and stuff like that, would you have been a little bit older then? Probably.
No, dude, I didn't even start acting till I was 38.
38.
I
Yeah.
didn't, yeah, not as a professional actor till I was like 38. I mean, it took me that long to kind of like, you know, put on my boots and buckle up my belt and say,
Yeah.
you know, this is something I want to try, this is something I want to do. Yeah. And then I didn't start stand up till I was 46, 47.
46, 47. It just goes to it just goes to show,
46.
folks, you know, it's never too late. It's never too late to go out there and try these things. And we're going to be talking
Oh man,
more.
we get one time around. I mean, that was the same thing about moving to London. We go, you know, you get one time around to try to figure stuff out, and you just got to do it.
Exactly. And we're going to be talking more to Brendan about all of these things right after this short break. So please join us then. Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio. The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and you're back with us. We're joined in the studio, not exactly in the studio, but via phone today by actor and comedian and writer Brandon Burke. Brendan, you're back on air with us.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Thanks so much for joining us today. And
Yes,
yeah, it's just such an interesting life I think you've had, because as you say, you didn't go into the acting until you were in your late 30s. And you didn't go into the comedy until you were in your mid 40s. So
Yeah.
you could say you had a whole other life kind of before you kind of had a kind of a stage life, if you like, or
Dominic,
a public
I am
life.
a late bloomer. I am a late. I've been a late bloomer since the very beginning.
But when we were talking the other day, you were telling me that you did have a passion, you know, for the arts and stuff like that, and you started taking some dance classes and some vocal trainings, right?
Oh yeah, I would. You know, there was nobody I knew nobody growing up, family member, friend, anybody who did any type of like singing or dancing or any type of getting up on stage. I knew nobody. The closest thing we had was like old hymns Sunday morning at church,
yeah,
and line dancing. Those were like the closest things that I even saw that were closest things to performing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old I was, but somehow I ran across there are two television shows that I found. One of them was a show called Star Search, and I'm not sure if they had that in the UK or not.
I think they had something similar. Yeah, they definitely had something similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a precursor to American Idol. It's just a talent competition, right?
Yeah.
So you got singers and dancers get up there. So that show, and then the other show that I found was a show called Fame, and I think it was called in the UK the Kids of Fame. I think that's what it was called here.
Okay.
But Fame is just it was a television show about kids that were going to a performing arts school in New York.
Oh yeah, I remember the show. Yeah, they made a movie out of it as well, I think.
Yeah, there was a movie first and then the TV show. But I saw that, I was like, what is this? Who are these people? What are they doing?
Yeah.
How can I do that?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You got inspired.
And it wasn't even like now where if you are a kid growing up in the middle of the sticks that you can kind of get on the internet and then look up, tap dancing or anything like that, or even a how-to thing, right?
Yeah.
There was just the only thing that I had was I had seen like old black and white old movies of like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers or like Gene Kelly and Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And then my Uncle Keith would come over and he would have all of his old Coors Light cans in the back of his truck. And he'd come over and he'd have all the kids. We'd have to stomp out the cans.
Yeah.
And then he'd take them and turn them in for money. Well, if you're lucky, you can stomp just right on top of these cans and they would like attach on the bottom of your tennis shoes.
Yeah.
And they would catch on, and I would just like tap dance around on the cement, just clunking around. that was my closest thing I had to any type of like dancing. Was finally getting that on,
There's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in that. It's almost like the kid who doesn't have a ball and finds like a rock and a stick or something like that.
Yes. It's the same damn thing. That's right. It's the same thing, right? Yeah.
Cool.
And then, finally, when I was old enough, when I got my first job, made a little bit of money, I said that I wanted to learn how to do all this. I wanted to take acting classes. I wanted to take dancing classes. I wanted to learn how to sing. I wanted to learn how to play the piano, cello, the violin, anything I could think of. So I just started taking.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just wanted to clarify for our listeners. This would have been kind of the late 80s. Is that right?
Yeah, this would have been the late 80s. That's right.
Yeah, nice.
Late 80s. And then there was in a neighboring town, there was like this little dance studio. That was having classes. So I went over there and paid and started taking dance classes over there.
Great.
And then right away, I'm in that class and right away, the teacher, everybody watching, they realized by watching me that I had no talent for it.
I thought you were going to say, and then right away they were like, a star is born.
Yeah, no, that's where I felt like I got gypped. In every movie that you see, right? Every book that you read or movie or television show that has this similar story in it, right? Doesn't matter if it's a poor kid, it's Dolly Parton from the Ozarks or it's, Billy Elliot, right? Any of those. It's like, here's this kid who wants to do this thing. And then finally, when somebody gets a chance, they're a star.
Yeah.
Mine just didn't work out that way. Yeah. I got all the passion, just very limited ability.
Oh God! But you persevered. You had a number of vocal teachers. If I remember correctly, you had 3. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah. I kept going through them and kept firing them. They would, you'd sit down. If you've ever taken a vocal lesson class, you sit down there and they'll hit up the little notes and they'll play the little vocal thing you're supposed to sing, and then you repeat it back. And I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I would sing loud. I would sing with a smile, and I would sing with everything that God put inside of me. It was just not on a note.
Wow. But you had the passion. You had the you had the enthusiasm, and that goes a long way. That goes a long way, even if you don't have It
not only does it go a long way, it can also be really loud. And there's nothing worse than hearing somebody singing really loud off key. But now, after 35 years, I figured out a bit. I've got, Dominic, I have 3 notes that I just rock. I have 3 notes that, man, I can sing those 3 notes. I mean, anytime. Yeah.
They're your go-to notes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Every song I pick has to have just those 3 only.
But I love that. I love that you were inspired enough to go to these classes. And in many ways, you had the artist life, insofar as you had these huge obstacles which were up against you in order for you to pursue anything to do with the arts, and you kind of overcame them. Okay, you discovered that you weren't a natural singer, you weren't a natural dancer, but I'm sure when you were actually doing those classes, you were having a great old time, and you were probably
Oh,
realizing this is fun, right?
I love it. It's still, even now, Dominic, since I was a kid to now, I never feel happier or more free than if I'm singing and dancing.
Yeah.
I now I found that these things don't have to be. You don't have to do these things for the reward or an applause or to be gratified or something to build up your ego. You can do these things just to send it out to the universe, just to send it out to
Yeah.
God, just to send it out from your own soul. I think everybody should sing and dance, regardless of if you think notes are a restriction or not.
I agree. I agree. And I think, when you are singing and dancing, you're very much you're in spirit at that moment. You're not so much in your head. It's not really about, ego. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this correctly? When you're singing in the shower, you're just singing. Or when you're dancing to a song that you enjoy, you're in the moment, and you're there, and it's a very inspired moment, I think. Um
Yeah, it's something we should all do. And the funny thing about it is singing is kind of fine. You can get away with singing. There's you masculine or feminine. You can get away with singing, but dancing is a different thing. Babies dance. Boys, little baby boys and little baby girls, they dance. You put on music and dance, and then
yeah.
somewhere along the line, boys are taught not to dance. They're taught that they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, it's such a great physical outlet to express yourself. So what do you do instead? You punch a wall, right?
Big time, big time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you punch a
that's
wall or you punch your buddy. Yeah,
yeah, that's so true. That's so true. It's yeah, and that is literally the reality of, I think, a lot of people growing up in the 80s and 90s. That was pretty common stuff for guys, for boys not to have an outlet for their emotions and stuff like that. And we
sure.
have the whole over here we have the whole Movember movement, which is this thing where men grow mustaches in November, as a kind of a show of solidarity for men's mental health. Have you heard about that?
Okay. No, I hadn't.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of a mental health awareness thing that takes place in England, in England and Ireland. I don't know if it happens in the rest of Europe, but it definitely happens in
I know
England and
what
Ireland. Yeah.
I actually think that's wonderful. I am a fan of the mustache.
The mustache is great. If you can grow it, it's great. I mean, I'm growing one at the moment, but you would never know. So, but I'm curious now, because you're talking about dancing and singing, and how much you love that, and I'm wondering now, did you grow up, when you were growing up, were you spiritual yourself? Because I know you mentioned that your folks were part of the Jesus Loves You movement of the 70s, but
Yeah, the Jesus movement, which is kind of like a post hippie, like kumbaya time, where you
yeah,
have these young people in their early to mid 20s, maybe late 20s, and they found Jesus as kind of like, Jesus was a hippie, and we agree with all the the cool stuff he said. So there's that group that kind of happened. I know it happened big in the States, when my parents spent time in the West Coast.
yeah,
I know it went through UK also. So my parents were a part of that, trying to find themselves, and they found that through the teachings of Christ. So
yeah,
when I was little, that's when I lived with my grandma for just a little bit in the Ozarks when my mom was out in California, and they're Baptists, so did the whole Baptist thing, and those strict rules, and here's right and wrong, and here's what the Bible says. And
yeah,
then it was a period with the Jesus movement, with the Jesus people, was this is what Jesus said. It was very little fire and brimstone and a lot of red wine. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds nice. That sounds really nice. Folks, we're talking to Brandon Burke here, actor, comedian, and writer, American actor, comedian, writer, who's now based in London. And we're on the air with him at the moment. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back. But if you want to give a call in, or I should say, if you want to give a text message in and ask Brendan any questions or ask us any questions, you can give a text message in to 078 524 73473. And we would be more than happy to answer you. I know that I think I did receive a message already, so I'm going to check that on this break. So yeah, join us after this short break for more art and spirituality, and more conversation with comedian Brandon Burke. We'll be right back after this.
Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট is 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back, the Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim, and I'm joined via phone today by American actor, comedian, and writer, Mr. Brandon Burke. Brandon, you're back on air with us. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us, Brandon. So we were just talking before the break there, and I was asking you if you personally had grown up spiritual, and you were talking a bit about your folks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of the Jesus movement. Which I love. We'd meet on like a Wednesday night. There'd be like a Bible study, and then they'd be in there with all the adults would be in there with some guy, usually a very young pastor with a guitar, and he'd look like a really good-looking homeless man, with a beard and kind of baggy clothes, and all of his kids would be like in the back room putting glue on our hands and letting it dry and kind of peeling it off. I don't know if you guys ever did that as a kid.
I remember that. That was like a proper pastime. That was a proper pastime. Putting glue in your hands.
And then peeling it off. Oh my God.
That was hours of entertainment there.
I wanted to be out there with the adults out there singing, and I love that. And I felt from early on that God was a part of my life. I've always felt that way. I feel that now, that God is alive, and that He is there, and I can feel it in my soul, especially in those quiet moments when I'm listening. So that has always been a part of me. It's always helped give me something to kind of sit back on when I feel like things are a little strange. And it was something that was there to comfort me when I was trying to figure out a little bit of, can somebody be gay and be a Christian? Where is that line? Where is that for me? Do you have to reject God because you reject the people that say they represent Him?
Yeah.
No, you don't. All those things you can separate those out with a little bit of thought and quiet time.
And I'm wondering now, because I know that you didn't go into acting until your late 30s, and I'm wondering what was the final push that just kind of like, was like, okay, I'm gonna go for this. I'm just gonna go into this and start doing it. Was there was there an epiphany moment?
Sure, yeah, and that's a lifetime of having this fight between what masculinity is. It seems like it's okay, or at least for me growing up during that time, it seemed like it was okay if you were interested in some things that were a little feminine, that were considered a little feminine. It would be okay if you wanted to sing and dance and act, or even, pray and lift your hands at church, anything emotional. It's fine to do those things as long as you were obviously a straight dude.
Yeah.
Right? It's even like put up on a pedestal, if you got tattoos, if you're like a macho man, and then you can also, dance and sing, there's something much interesting about that. But if you're not hyper masculine, then those things just tend to be, then you're just classified as gay. And I was fighting so hard not to be gay that I then decided not to do anything that any gay man would be doing. I would do just the opposite. I leaned as far into hyper masculinity as I could.
Yeah.
Even my accent's from the Midwest. I found myself at times just really even leaning into that more.
Yeah.
Just
Interesting.
really giving that down. And then finally, you grow up and you fight these things. And my dad passed away. Same year my dad passed away was the same year that I should have proposed to my longtime girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it was that time to do it. And my dad died. I didn't propose to her. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to even classify any of this shit. I'm not going to say that I'm gay. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do any of that. But I'm definitely going to explore my life. And finally came out to myself. And when I did that, I was like, shit, I want to sing and dance.
Well, I'm going to ask you to stop saying the S word just because we're live on radio, if you don't mind.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Yeah. But just so you know, it's not okay to swear on the show here. But but I congratulate you for taking that decision to not go into that marriage and not go into that, because there was something in you that didn't feel that that was the right thing to do, so that was good.
Well, thank you, Dominic.
You're welcome. And then was it followed pretty closely then with you going, okay, like now that I'm not doing this, maybe I can do the acting?
Well, all of that, yeah. Then it was like, what do I want to do? Who am I? What do I want to do? These are things that I want to do, and I'm gonna give it my best shot.
Yeah. And so, what was it like working as an actor in LA? I guess this would have been the 90s, right?
Oh God, the aughts, I guess that's what they call them, the 2000s.
Oh, the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the noughties. I've heard someone refer to them as, which is, I think, is a great name.
Whatever they call them. Yeah. Because in the 90s, I was still playing basketball and going to single bars and trying to get with as many women as I can. I was still like doing that in the 90s.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
It was in the 2000s, and I because I was close enough. When I was spending time in Bakersfield, it's close enough to Los Angeles. It's just an hour and a half drive over LA.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know what? I didn't have any of these opportunities when I was a little kid growing up, but here I am, so close to the center of the entertainment world.
Yeah.
So let's just give it a shot. And it was fun. I loved it. I like it. I like being on set. I like auditioning. I like the whole process. I like watching the cameraman. I love it. I love being involved in on set. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I mean, you had some interesting roles over there. I'm curious. I want to ask you actually about. I saw that you were featured in a music video for Chaka Khans video for
Oh,
Hello Happiness. Was
yeah,
that filmed over?
for Chaka Khans. I
Yeah,
know. I've done a lot of music videos. I did one with John Legend. I've probably done 30 different music videos with different people. Some that are known, some that
yeah,
are just trying to get the start. But like big budget music videos are fun. The Chaka Khan one was a blast. I play like I usually play. I'm typecast, so I usually play the same type of role. And this one, I played like a bad cop.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just a big ugly guy with a mustache and a cop uniform. Doing a drug deal that gets caught by like an undercover agent or something like that. But it was fun. It was
It's a great video, actually. It's a really good story in the video, I think.
yeah, it all takes place around like a phone booth and the
Yeah.
different things that are happening around this phone booth. Yeah.
Yeah, we might
It
even
was fun. It was nice.
we might even be able to put some links up to it. Maybe our tech wizard Harry is putting these up as we speak. Who knows? Who knows? We'll know after the live show later. But
Okay.
that was great. But it was cool to see you in that, and I know that you had some other interesting parts. I know that you were involved in a TV show as well out there called The Span. What was that all
The
about?
Span. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the Span was a talk show featuring gay men from various backgrounds and ethnicities.
yeah,
And they would just talk about social issues, whatever was happening at that time. It was a little short run show.
yeah,
Interesting. It was fun. I liked it. I had the same issue that I have a lot of times. I have trouble with other gay men. I have trouble being liked by them. And I have trouble relating to a lot of other gay men. And that one, we had offset, we had some issues just because they didn't like that I, didn't come, because I didn't embrace that every gay man needs to be a liberal and every gay man needs to be either an atheist or just a spiritualist or a Buddhist.
right.
That every gay man should whatever ... I didn't embrace that, and that
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Fair
I
enough.
like being on the set, and I like sharing a background that might have been a little different from theirs. Somebody who didn't reject Christianity just because they are also gay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have thought that it would be good to have a variety of opinions on a talk show panel, right? You want people to have different opinions. I mean, look, let's face it, like that's the world. Everyone has different opinions, and we're all entitled to them, right?
Well, we all say we want that, but if somebody is on either extreme, if somebody is a right-wing extremist or left-wing,
Yeah,
they only say they want that, but then when they're faced with it, they don't know what to do with it.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. And so then, have you noticed, like, since you've been in London, have you noticed that, yeah, performing and acting and stuff over here, that it's much different than being out in LA?
I love the stand-up scene here.
Yeah.
I love it here. When I first came here, and I told my partner, I said, you know what? I'll continue to act while I'm here. I'll continue to do voiceover work and all that. I'm not sure with comedy. I'm not sure if English comedy. Again, I didn't know what that meant. If that my comedy would work here.
Yeah.
I went to one gig and thought, oh, funny is funny regardless. And what I like about in London, particularly, is that there's such a wide variety of stand-up. You go to a night and there might be somebody just doing observational humor,
Yeah.
somebody talking about, but then also like all these character acts, which I had never seen before.
Yeah.
I think
which are
in the
great.
States, character acts are mostly maybe in the 90s and before that. You don't see a lot of like character acts, and I think
Yeah.
that comes from UK has the whole pantomime thing, and then you have
Yeah.
the European and the French with the whole clown stuff. So you get this really strange mix of every night. When I go to a comedy night, you just don't know what's going to come up. When I was doing comedy in Los Angeles, you pretty much get it. It's going to be somebody come up and they're going to do their quick little set, and
Yeah.
there's a pattern. and there's a cadence to it, and that kind of an American cadence to the
Yeah.
way it sounds. Here, it's so different. The closest thing that I hear to that cadence is probably the Irish.
I know what you mean
Can you
about
hear
that
it?
cadence. I know what you mean about that cadence, especially out in California. There's a very, and also I noticed the cadence as well in New York when I was doing stand up there. There's a very distinctive cadence to it.
Yeah, there's a rhythm to comedy. There's a rhythm to it, and the British comedians, it's a little more staccato.
Yeah.
It has a different thing, but I like it. I like that it's so different. I love stand up here. Fun.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're going to take another short break, folks, and we're going to be right back after this. Please join us then. We're going to be talking to Brandon about his new comedy show, Never Been Fabulous, which was due to premiere in Edinburgh this year, but obviously due to Edinburgh not going ahead. He's been. I know that Brandon, you've been previewing it elsewhere, so yeah, we're going to talk to you all about that, and also ask you about a book that you're working on as well. So hopefully, you can join us after the break. We'll be right back after these short messages. Please join us then for more art and spirituality.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and you're back. We're back for more conversation with American actor and comedian and writer, Mr. Brandon Burke. Brendan, you're back on air with us.
Thanks, Dominic.
Oh, so good to have you here. Hey, in the break, we actually received a couple of questions from a listener over in Dublin, and so
okay.
I'm just going to ask you these questions. The first question was from Ivor in Dublin, and he says, do you think there is a crisis of masculinity, and can it be funny? Is there a crisis of masculinity in the world?
Yeah, I think there is. And well, let me answer the second thing.
Yeah.
Anything can be funny.
Yeah.
Anything and everything can be funny. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not. I don't necessarily have a joke for it, but I do think there's an issue. There's something. There's this tint to go that it's negative, right? That needs to be hidden. That it's a bad thing. that if you are masculine, it needs to be squashed and pushed aside. That the only good thing is to be feminine and to hide your masculinity. And we understand that, right? Because we understand because of the masculine attributes have dominated the world and dominated society and dominated the feminine or dominated women for so long.
Yeah.
But what we're striving for is some kind of honesty and truth, and truth is not a pendulum.
Truth is not a pendulum. I like that. Yeah.
Truth is not a pendulum. You cannot swing it one way and then say, now this is correct. It doesn't work that way. Both should be relished. The masculine and the feminine, both should be relished.
Fantastic. We've also received another question, also from Ivor in Dublin, and he follows up his first question with, is there a crisis of Christianity? Now, he might just be referring to Ireland, but yeah, I'd be interested to know your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll tell you this, that it took me 35 years, right, to come out of the closet. And the joke behind that is always, that is a long time to try to hide a boner. That's the joke, 35 years.
To try, okay.
But,
we won't even repeat that. We'll just let that one go by quietly. Go on.
We'll keep moving forward. I have found it harder, more difficult to come out as a Christian in the entertainment world than I did to come out as gay to a Christian family.
Wow, that's interesting. I think, yeah, there is a lot of taboo now around Christianity. I think because historically there has been a lot of controversial subjects around it. So yeah.
Well, you know what? Historically, there's been controversial subjects around every religion or group of people that have tried to dominate. I mean, that is just everything. When you think about any religion or group or political movement, there's always that. That doesn't necessarily mean that the thing in its purest form is bad.
You're right, and I actually agree with that. I think you're right. I think you're spot on there. Let's talk about your comedy show, because we're quickly running out of time here, and I want to make sure that we talk about it. Never Been Fabulous. What can you tell us about it?
Well, it is exactly that, and it's a little bit about what we've been talking about today. That I felt like if God can make you gay, He also needs to give you a fabulous superpower. I think that is just fair. So I think that if you're a gay man, you should be able to sing or dance or be able to know how to decorate or pick out really nice clothes.
All of the stereotypes. Really sure.
Snappy little comebacks in an argument, one of those things. And I was not gifted with any of those. So my comedy show is two things: talking about that, not ever being fabulous, having fabulous powers. And then throughout the night, I end up tricking audience members up on stage to be fabulous for me.
Oh, brilliant.
So at some point, I get two people up there, and they think they're giving me directions, but it turns out that they end up doing a full-on country line dance and two-step with me.
Oh, nice.
That's the music. I get somebody up at one point, and they sing "I Will Survive." Of course, I'm not prepared for that. We got a lot of dancing and singing. At some point, I got 5 people up there doing the whole YMCA thing that they're not prepared for. So I make the audience be fabulous for me.
Brilliant. I actually saw a video of you reading the YMCA lyrics in a kind of a serious way in different costumes, and I have to say that it was very hilarious. It was very, very funny. And when the music starts coming in at the end, I was like, "This is genius,"
Then share that one. Share that with your listeners.
Yeah, we'll. I'm sure Harry is on the case. I'm sure he's on the case. Yeah. We'll make sure to share it. Now let's talk about this book that you're working on. It's the title is quite interesting as well. A Jesus Loves You neck tattoo, which I think is just neck tattoos anyway are a statement in of themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, yes, they are, and a little sexy.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a neck tattoo I didn't like.
I agree with you. I have this theory about, when you're talking to people on public transportation, that the best person to talk to is a dude with a neck tattoo, but a very nice watch.
Ah, Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's.
If you've got both those things, it's going to be an interesting conversation.
I have to say, anyone I've ever spoken to with tattoos in and around near their face have always been the sweetest, most lovely people. You know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would
You know,
totally agree
it
with
might
that.
be the reason. It might be the reason why they got it. It's like the same reason why I stomp around in cowboy boots. You know.
Yeah, it's. I think tattoos are like wearing a part of your personality on the outside, aren't they? That's what they
Yeah. I
say.
guess so.
That's what
You
they
know.
say. I don't have any tattoos. I mean, I'm speculating. I'm speculating. I was
Yeah.
never.
I don't have any. So
y-
listen to this. One of my best buddies back home is a tattoo artist, and
Oh
he
wow,
doesn't have any.
and he doesn't have any.
No. No tattoos. Yeah.
Wow, how does that work?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess he's like good at drawing on people's body, but doesn't
Yeah.
draw on his own.
Both of
Hmm.
my brothers. I'm the only one who does it. Both of my brothers are fully sleeved
Yeah,
and legs. Yeah, they're full on, full tattoos everywhere.
I think you have to be able to pull a tattoo off. You know, if you've got a tattoo, you got to be able to pull it off. And a lot of the time I see, whenever I see someone with a tattoo, I'm always like, yeah, they're rocking that tattoo. They are rocking it. It looks good. It looks really good. Um,
You know, every now and then though, it's not always. There's some bad ones. Like one of my buddies ended up getting the one with the barbed wire around his arm, right?
oh yeah.
Real when it was real popular when we're like 28 or whatever. Now he just wears long sleeve shirts.
Oh no, he's gotta change that barbed wire into roses, maybe, or something like that.
Something, yeah.
But
Yeah.
tell me about the book. What is the book all about?
Okay. I have a short little thing that I can read. I think it's like 40 seconds. Should I go for
Let's
it?
hear it. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, here's the opening for it. I'm the hottest guy in my first grade class, fashion model hot. The other 6-year-olds don't stand a chance against my good looks. Put me on a Toys R Us magazine playing with Legos or on a Mickey Mouse hoppity hop, and they will run out of stock. I'm not just sexy, but confident. A confidence that isn't tempered by modesty. I smile at the teachers. I flirt at the grocery store. I walk around shirtless in my neighborhood, body confident, curly blonde locks, chubby cheek, and strutting. I look like a white supremacist painting of the Christ child. Christ-like, the Messiah reborn to a farm girl named Donna Lynn from the Ozarks. Like Madonna, neither had running water. Both had sons with visions of standing in front of multitudes. One with a scroll, the other one with tap shoes and a smile. I cut it short for you, but I think you get the idea.
Great. That was an excerpt, a little excerpt from Brendan Burke's new book that he's working on at the moment called "A Jesus Loves You" neck tattoo. And I guess your inspiration for the book is really your childhood. I guess you're talking about yourself there as a child.
Yeah, they're just short stories from my childhood. Yep.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, when can we expect to see something like this? When do you think it'll be finished?
It'll mid of next year, but in 2 weeks I will have excerpts up on a separate website. So if any of your listeners want to follow me, I will post when that is available.
Great. Well, what website is that?
It's not published yet.
Okay.
You'd actually just be able to type in "Jesus Loves You" neck tattoo.
Okay. Okay. So you will.
That will pop up.
You will put it up there. You'll activate it when it's live, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. So if anybody's following me on Instagram or Facebook, I will be posting on there when that site is up, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts or ideas on it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been really interesting talking to you today, Brandon. Like, thanks a million for joining us. And yeah, it's really, it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear. Yeah, it's nice to hear your perspective on life.
Thank you, Dominic. I found this I was nervous about it, but I found it really relaxed and comforting and freeing. So I appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad that you found it relaxing because we are Relaks Radio.
Yeah,
so that's good. That's good. Yeah, we'll definitely. I'm sure Harry's been on the case and he's been linking all of your various different things like your YouTube channel, and your Instagram and your Twitter. I'm sure he's been putting all those graphics up there in the show. And you can just check out. You can follow Brandon by following this live stream. We'll have all of the things on there. Brandon in Britain is your Facebook page, and Mr. Brandon Burke is your YouTube, I believe. Or else it's Brandon in Britain. But anyway, we'll
yeah.
Which one is it for YouTube?
I just think it's Brandon Burke.
Brandon Burke. Brandon Burke.
Brandon Burke actor, I think.
We'll definitely have the links. We'll definitely have the links in this live stream anyway. So yeah, people, whoever's listening, will definitely be able to follow. And yeah, thanks a million for joining us. And
Thanks, Dominic.
we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Oh, that was Brandon Burke there, American comedian, actor, and writer. He's moved over to London. He's been in London for nearly 2 years, and yeah, he grew up in the Ozarks, and then he spent some time in California working as an actor in LA. And yeah, really interesting guy. Really, really interesting guy. Very, very funny man as well. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Brandon. We're going to be right back after this short break for more art and spirituality. Please join us then.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and that was Brandon Burke, who joined us via phone today. He joined us talking all about himself, growing up in America, growing up in a Baptist family, and moving to California, working as an actor out there in the noughties, and then up sticks and moving to London with his partner. And he's a comedian he's been doing comedy for nearly 3 years now. So yeah, really interesting talking to him, and so excited for him for his comedy show Never Been Fabulous, and his book, which is due for release in the middle of next year, which is titled "A Jesus Loves You Neck Tattoo," which I think is it's a great name, isn't it? It's a really, really good name. If you're joining the show today, yeah, give us a message, give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. Big thanks to our listener in Dublin, Ivor from Dublin, who had a couple of questions for our guest today. So shout out to Ivor. Thanks for tuning in. And if anyone else has any more questions or thoughts that they want to add, you can give us a message on 078 524 73473, or you can just comment on this live stream, or you can send us a tweet at Relax Radio. We'd love to hear from you. So yeah, there's a lot going on right now. I was doing a bit of research for the show, and there's a lot happening right now because of course we're in the middle of the second lockdown, aren't we? This is lockdown number two. Lockdown number two. What is going on with you for lockdown number two? Are you enjoying it? Are you having a good time? Are you working from home? Are you on furlough? What's happening? I'd love to know. Love to hear from you. Just let me know what you're getting up to. One thing I was talking about a couple of weeks ago was the collective creative initiative, which is run by Pearson Casting. I was talking about this probably about 3 weeks ago, and this is a great initiative which has been set up by James Pearson and Rosie Pearson of Pearson Casting, and they have been collaborating with a lot of different tutors, a lot of different teachers to give 30 hours of free classes every week via their YouTube channel. Now, if you're an actor, a dancer, a performer, if you're working in the arts in any way, any fashion, and maybe you don't have a lot on right now, maybe you're not, maybe you're just waiting for that next bit of work to come through. This is a great opportunity for you to do some training for free, right? They won a grant with Innovate UK. So it's a fully funded initiative, and they offer 30 hours of free classes every week via their YouTube channel. Now, I wanted to just find out what they had going on this week. So I went on their website, the Creative Collective Initiative, onto their website, and I found out what they've got coming on this week. So maybe you're at home, maybe you're looking for something to do this week. If you are, you're in luck. You're going to have some nice free classes. How about some jazz dance with Josh Flegg? Some jazz dance with Josh Flegg. That's going to be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You can do some jazz dancing with Josh Flegg. Then at 12 p.m., you've got some fit steps with Jade and Jenna. Okay, and this is all via the Collective Creative Initiative via their YouTube channel, and that's going to be on 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. That's tomorrow, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Maybe you are an actor and you're looking for some help with monologue performance. Monologue performance. Well, if you are, there's a class on tomorrow from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. and that's with Felipe Boscher. Felipe Boscher. That's going to be on tomorrow, 1:30 to 2:30. Then at 3:30 to 4:30, you've got vocal technique for anxiety with Rhiannon Jenkins. Rhiannon Jenkins. That's Rhiannon. Yeah, because the big thing when you're doing an audition, or even if you're a comedian and you're about to go on stage, you can be very nervous and it can really come across in your voice. So this sounds like a really great class to attend. This is tomorrow from 3:30 until 4:30, and it's called Vocal Technique for Anxiety with Rhiannon Jenkins. So yeah, we'll be sure to put some links to these things that I'm talking about. We'll definitely be sure to put some links in the live stream today so that you can check them out. Another thing that's happening tomorrow at 5 p.m. is a class with Jasmine Ricketts. Jasmine Ricketts. And that is a class called Preparing to Move. Preparing to Move with Jasmine Ricketts. That's at 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's Tuesday. I've got the whole week lined up for you here, folks. How exciting is this? We've got the whole week. So I'm going to give you a run by day, what's going on the Collective Creative Initiative YouTube channel this week. So maybe you've got some availability on Wednesday. If you do, from 10 until 11:30, you can do physical theater class with Sean Croftex and Chloe Young. Okay, that's at 10 until 11:30. Then at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., there's a class called Deconstructing Stephen Schwartz. Deconstructing Stephen Schwartz, and that is with Jordan Lee Smith. Okay, so Again, this is another acting type class that you can attend for free on the YouTube channel of the Collective Creative Initiative, which is an initiative which is being run by Pearson Casting, James and Rosie Pearson. What else? We've got 1:30 to 2:30. There's a class with Tina Kilberg, and that class is called Rights, Camera, Action. Rights, Camera, Action. So yeah, if you want to check out that, you can. I think we might have received another question. Let me just check and see if we have. Oh no, we haven't. Okay. If you have any more questions, do feel free to text them to me on the phone. It's at 078 524 73473. And what else have we got? We've got Pilates for dancers. That's with Gennaro King Tella. And that's 3 p.m. 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Imagine all these classes are free. You can go along, you can do the class, and you don't need to pay anything. That is amazing, isn't it? That's a pretty special initiative that's going on right now. Then you've got a bar class with Anna Kira Kozaka, and that's at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Thursday, you've got musical theater jazz with Bree Smith. That's at 10. You got improvisation for creatives. That's with Kathy Shuttle. That's at 12 p.m. You got the musical process of pantomime with Sam Coates. That's at 2 p.m. Land of Lola, dance choreography with Jenny Less. That's at 3:30. Then you got a candid Q&A with Michelle Blair. That's at 4:45 to 5:45. Then on the 20th, which is Friday, they have a sharing your story autobiographical writing with Sanjay Lago. That's at 10 a.m. They have yoga with Karine Kefalian. That's at 11:30 a.m. You've got Charleston with Eddie Slattery. That's at 1 p.m. And then at 2:30 p.m., we've made it, finally, something to do with comedy again. The Anatomy of a Joke with Meryl O'Rourke, part 2. This is at 2:30 p.m., The Anatomy of a Joke. So I guess that's to do with joke writing and stuff like that. Because, yeah, I mean, has anyone who's listening today, have you ever wanted to do stand-up comedy? Have you ever wanted to be a stand-up comedian? Did you ever watch stand-up comedy and go, I could do that? Yeah. Or did you ever watch stand-up comedy and think, I would like to give that a go sometime? Well, if you did have those thoughts, there's a comedy writing course that you could take with a very famous comedy coach, comedy teacher, and comedian and actor and writer and director by the name of Logan Murray. Yes, Mr. Logan Murray is a fantastic teacher. I actually attended one of his classes back in 2014 on the Isle of Wight. I attended a comedy writing course with him, and what a brilliant course. He's also the author of Be a Great Standup, which is a book on how to become a stand-up comedian, which is a really good book to read. Definitely recommend it if you're interested in becoming a stand-up comedian and you didn't know, you were like, I want to do this, but I don't know what I would do, how I would go about it, where to start, how to write jokes, how to develop material. This is the book for you. Be a Great Stand-Up. That's with Logan Murray. And finally, by the way, with the Collective Creative Initiative, just to close that bit off, on the 20th at 4 p.m., there's a How to Do a General American Accents workshop, and that's with Alex Dunmore. That's at 4 p.m. on Friday the 20th. So yeah, comedy writing courses or becoming a stand-up comedian. Logan Murray, check him out. Logan Murray. He's a really interesting guy. His website is just loganmurray.com. And we're probably going to be putting some links up to Logan's website while I'm talking about him. But he's got some really interesting courses going on. He's got he's got a writing course which is going to be starting on the 18th of November, and it runs from the 18th. It's the 18th, the 25th, the 2nd of December, the 9th of December, and the 16th of December, and that's from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And it's a writing course, so it's a course about learning how to do comedy writing, and that costs £180. And he says on his website, each evening will be themed. They're going to have different themes. Previous themes have included joke construction, comic flaws, obsession, ranting, exploring parody, looking for hot points to make an idea sizzle, shape, and structure. So check out his website, loganmurray.com. And I can highly recommend doing a course with him. I can highly recommend doing a course with him. It's he's a brilliant teacher, and it's just a really fun way to spend a few weeks as well. Folks, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this for more art and spirituality. Please join me then.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and we're back. We are back. It is Monday. It is Monday. What's going on? What's going on in your world on this nice dry Monday, which is it's what is the date today? I feel like it's the 16th. I've got the 16th in my head. Yeah, this is 16th. It's the 16th of November. Where is the time going? It's going by fast, isn't it? It's going to be Christmas in no time. Are people excited for Christmas? Do people celebrate Christmas? I'd like to hear from you if you do, or if you don't. Are you a bar humbug? Oh, Christmas. Are you? Oh, Christmas. I'd like to know. What is your experience? You can give me a message if you want on 078 524 73473, or you can comment on our live stream. I know we're going live stream on the Facebook and the YouTube. So you can you can get us a message on there if you like, or you can send us a tweet at the old at Relaks Radio. And yeah, it was great. We were joined in the studio today by American actor, writer, and comedian Brandon Burke, and he was talking all about growing up in the States, and how he spent most of his life growing up in the States as a straight man, and didn't actually come out to being gay until he was in his late 30s, or mid to late 30s, I think he said. And then and now he's been living in London for nearly 2 years, and he's got a comedy show called Never Been Fabulous, which is all about how, you know, he said that, well, when he found out that he was gay, that he said that God should have given him a superpower. Should have gotten a superpower for being gay, like all the stereotypical things that are being associated with being gay. He should have had one of those superpowers. But then he found out that his superpower was being funny. That was what his superpower was, and what a great superpower to have. And his show, Never Been Fabulous, check it out. He's got some great videos up on his YouTube. Is very, very funny, very, very funny. One video which stuck out to me was of him talking about doing the lyrics for the YMCA, and he's actually dressed in the different costumes, but he's saying them. He's saying them quite seriously. I won't spoil it for you, but check it out yourself. It's really funny stuff. So it was great for him to join us there today. And yeah, there's a lot going on. Maybe you're at home. What are you getting up to this lockdown? This lockdown? Are you maybe you're thinking to yourself, I'd like to try stand-up comedy. Yeah, this is something maybe that you've always thought about, and you've never had the gumption, or you've never had the nerve to give it a go. If you are thinking about starting, I can highly recommend two things. Number one, I would say definitely check out Logan Murray, Be a Great Standup. Get that book. That book is brilliant. It's so good. It really breaks down everything about stand-up comedy. Some of the chapters in that book are where do jokes come from, building a joke, comedy ground rules, what sort of comic are you. That's like the kind of first part of the book. He kind of talks about all these types of things, and then in the second part of the book, he gives you these like writing exercises that you can do, and explains about why and how audiences laugh. The big message in that book is that an audience is only going to laugh at what you say if they understand how you feel about that subject. So if the audience understands how you feel about that subject, then you're making it easier for the audience to laugh. He has chapters on unlocking your creativity, emotional exaggeration, creating material, stagecraft, microphone technique, hecklers and crowd control, what other comics think, your first gig, the future. And it's a really good book. Highly recommend it. And I was on his website just doing a bit of research for the show, and I saw that he has a new book out, which is an edited version, a new edition version of that book, and it's called Get Started in Stand-Up, Make 'Em Laugh by Logan Murray. That's his latest book. Now, the book that I read was Be a Great Stand-Up, and I can highly recommend it. Get Started in Stand-Up, Make 'Em Laugh. I'm sure it's also brilliant. Probably has a lot of new writing exercises in there and things like that. So yeah, I definitely would recommend both books. And maybe you've got a wedding coming up. Maybe you're thinking I'm too novice to attend one of these writing courses with Logan Murray. I would be maybe embarrassed or something like that. If you are thinking like that, or maybe you're thinking, oh, I've been doing comedy for years. I don't want to go to a beginner's comedy writing class. If that's the case, you can also do individual sessions with Logan. You can also do individual sessions, and he says that if you want to do an individual session, they come in at £80 for 55 minutes, or £350 for 5 sessions. Pretty good value, really, has to be said. So yeah, Logan Murray. Check out Logan Murray. Some of his past students include the famous comedians Greg Davies. Greg Davies, the brilliant comedian Greg Davies. Josh Widdicombe, also a fantastic comedian. Diane Morgan, another brilliant comedian. Anna Crilly, Holly Walsh, Marek Larwood, all fantastic comedians. So yeah, he has a lot of famous comedians have attended his classes. So yeah, check him out. Very, very good. Logan Murray, loganmurray.com, I believe is his website. So yeah, check him out. And you know, it got me thinking about stand-up comedy books when I was doing that bit of research. Stand-up comedy books. What is a stand-up comedy book? What is your favorite stand-up comedy book that you've ever read? For me, the best stand-up comedy book I read, apart from Be a Great Standup, because that's obviously a book about learning how to do stand-up comedy. Another book just about the life of a stand-up comedy is Born Standing Up, A Comic's Life. And that book is by Steve Martin. Steve Martin, yes, the very famous comedian, musician, actor, Mr. Steve Martin. It's a very, very funny book. He talks all about his time where he worked. He used to work for Disney. He used to work in a magic shop for Disney, and he talks about playing the birdcage. This is a comedy club and doing his early comedy shows on the scene. And yeah, he actually retired. He retired from comedy in the early 80s when he was at the height of his fame. He stopped doing stand-up comedy. So yeah, it's a really, really, really funny, really interesting book. And yeah, highly, highly recommend that you check it out. Now, let's have a look at something different here. You're at home, it's lockdown, you've watched X amount of shows on Netflix, and you don't want to watch anymore because you've just seen too many shows. You want to go online and you want to get some interaction with some people. Maybe you live by yourself. Maybe you're living with housemates. I don't know. Let me know if you are living by yourself. You can give me a message, and I will be sure to reply to that message. Did I receive a message? No, I did not receive a message. My phone keeps on buzzing here, and I've got friends who are listening to the show, but they're not asking questions, so that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. If you're looking for some online comedy shows, then look no further than designmynight.com. Designmynight.com. This website is fantastic. I just discovered it yesterday, and they just have like all these different examples. They're advertising all these different events that are going on that you can sign up for. So I did a bit of research, and this week, this is what's going on this week. Okay, so today's Monday. So tomorrow, you've got Crack Comedy. Okay. This is a online comedy show. It's called it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? 9 p.m. And the comedy show is called Comics Solving Problems. Comics Solving Problems. Tickets are £6. It's an over 18s event. Okay, over 18s event, FYI. And if you are an NHS worker, you can go for free. How cool is that? So they're going to give you a free entry, or you can do a pay what you want, and it's run by Steve N. Allen, who's from BBC Two's The MASH Report, and Eric McElroy, who is also one of the other comedians that's running that show. So yeah, they say that they cover the daily news and that they solve any problems that the audience suggest. Okay, so daily news and any problems that the audience suggest. So that's on that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and make sure you go to designmynight.com to get that information. Folks, we're going to take a short break, but definitely join us after the break. We are going to have more information. We're going to have more information about some online events that are coming up. And we're also going to be talking about a certain Comedy Book Festival, which is actually started. It's already started. It started yesterday. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Please join us then for more art and spirituality. We'll be right back after this short break.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We are back. Welcome back to the show, to the Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. You know who I am at this stage. You've seen me before. You've heard me talking. Sure, you've heard me talking these last 7 weeks. This is my 7th week doing this show. Wow, where is the time going? I don't actually know where the time is going, to be honest. It's going by so fast. It's incredible. It really is quite incredible. And here we are. We're in the second lockdown. And it feels different than the first lockdown. There is that. I think definitely people are more patient. People seem to be practicing more kindness and compassion, which I'm really happy about. My housemates are definitely everyone seems to be getting on better. Everyone's getting on better than we did first time round, which is really cool, And I don't mind. I mean, I'm more patient, I think. I personally feel less uptight than I was in the first lockdown. I'm a lot more patient. I was talking last week about when people don't understand about the draining boards. The draining board area in my house is literally like an area where people just leave cups and bowls full of water. Nobody turns them upside down. They don't do it. But I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. It does not bother me. I'm totally fine with it now. The first lockdown, I would have been going a little bit crazy. But now it's the second lockdown and I'm more zen. I'm more in the moment. I'm more accepting. And I think the reason for that is because of this lovely, beautiful radio that I've been able to talk into this microphone and have you lovely people listening to me. You lovely people. Sometimes people tune in for the show, and I get a text message from somebody back in Ireland, which is nice. And other times people tune in on the live, on the Facebook Live or on the YouTube Live, wherever you are right now in the world. If you're listening to me live, or if you're listening to me on the loop, on the recorded loop, on the Relaks Radio app, I say to you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this space to talk. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with the world, really. If you want to share your thoughts with the world, get in contact with the show. Yeah, you can give us a message, you can send us a tweet, any way you like. We're here for you. This is the Art and Spirituality Show, and we want to know what's going on with you during the second lockdown. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you doing good? Are you struggling? How are you passing your time? Because we had a comedian on the show, we had Gabby Killick on the show, rock star Gabby Killick, amazing comedian, very very funny, brilliant shows. She does a show, Girlfriend from Hell, and the Bee is Back, and she had sellout shows at Edinburgh Fringe Festival 2 years in a row. She was on the show last week, and yeah, she's fantastic guest and such an inspiring performer. So because had her on the show last week and we had Brandon Burke on the show today, I thought, hey, this is an opportunity to talk about comedy, which is one of my favorite subjects. Being a comedian, I like to not always do serious things. It's nice to have some comedy in the mix as well. And this second lockdown is a little bit like that because I'm taking more time to find the funny, being more patient with my housemates, and being more patient with myself as well. And yeah, so I went online. I went to designmynight.com, which is just an excellent website. Check it out. They've got a show on there which is called Taskmaster Virtual Dating London. Now, maybe you're single out there and you're thinking, I'm in lockdown and I'm bored and I'm lonely. This is a great opportunity for you to do a show where you're going to meet people, you're going to have fun. Now, are you going to meet Mr. or Mrs. Right? Are you going to meet Mr. or Mrs. The One? Who knows? Who knows? But at the end of the day, you'll be going on and you'll be doing something interactive. You'll be connecting with people, and that's all we want, really, isn't it? And that's why I do the show. I wanted to connect with people, so that's why I'm doing the show, and that's why you should go on and do this. Do this if you're single, even if you're not single, you could go on as a couple and just have a bit of fun. This sounds really good fun. It's on the 19th, which is in 2 days' time or 3 days' time. It's at 7:30 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. It's an over 18s event, folks. So you got to be over 18. Tickets are only £5, and basically you go on there and they say it's dating, something a little different, and comedy. So yeah, you got a nice combination of different things there. And essentially what happens is you go on, you pair up with somebody, they put you with somebody else, and then you're given a task to work through, and you get 10 minutes to work through this task. And they say it's a great way for you to know someone new and to have a laugh. And their website, by the way, is smudgedlipstick.co.uk. Smudgedlipstick.co.uk. So yeah, so check them out. Sounds like a pretty fun show. So yeah, that's on the 19th at 7:30. Now, what about this? Would you? How does winning some tickets to live immersive theater sound? Would you like to win some tickets to live immersive theater? Does that sound like fun? If the answer to that is yes, then maybe you should go and check out the maybe you should play the utterly, see if I can get this right. What a setup. What a setup. If I can get it right now, I'll be flying. Then maybe you should play the utter the utterly utter nonsense, the big quiz of utter nonsense. I got there in the end. It was worth it. Maybe you should play the big quiz of utter nonsense. You see, if this wasn't live, we could just edit that in and it would sound like I said it perfectly right the first time. But anyway, maybe you should play the big quiz of utter nonsense with Book Games. Yes, on the 17th, that's tomorrow, folks, at 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tickets are £8, and it's over 16's event, over 16 events, FYI, and it's a comedy night. They say it's online, it's live, and it's a quiz night. Okay, you can have up to 20 players. They're available for private parties, and they say that you're going to be writing, you're going to be drawing, you're going to be posing, and you're going to be creating. Sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? And they've got some hilarious videos on there. So yeah, so go on to designmynight.com and you'll be able to find out about these different events. You've got the big quiz of utter nonsense. That's with Book Games. You've got Taskmaster Virtual Dating, and that's with smudgedlipstick.co.uk. And you've also got the comics solving problems, and that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Now, I did mention before the break that there is a comedy book festival happening right now, and that comedy book festival is called the Chortle Comedy Book Festival. The website is comedybookfest.com. Go on there, check it out. This morning, now I don't know if this stuff is recorded and if it's available online after it's been, or if it's only available live. But this morning at 10:30, Frank Skinner was talking about his book. He was in conversation with Peep Show's Izzy Suti, and they were talking about his book, How to Enjoy Poetry, and the tickets were only £8.14. Now, that is over. That's already happened. So I don't know if that's still available online, but you can definitely go onto their website, comedybookfest.com, to find out a bit more information about that. Tonight at 7 p.m., Michael Spicer is going to be talking about of course he's famous for The Man in the Room Next Door, and these were these viral sketches about a fictional political advisor. They've amassed nearly 50 million views. You're probably familiar with them, right? And he's going to be talking about his new book, The Secret Political Advisor. So yeah, this guy, he's known, of course. He's a regular on the MASH report, and he's going to lift the lid on the world's most influential. Okay, it is fictional, but the world's most influential political media advisor, the secret political advisor. That's Michael Spicer. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Go to comedybookfest.com and you can get yourself a ticket to watch that interview. It would be very good, I'd say. Then later at 9 p.m., Matt Ford is going to be talking, and he's going to be there. He's going to be talking about his book, which is called Politically Homeless. He's a comedian. He's a former Labour Party advisor. He's appeared on Have I Got News for You, Mock of the Week, and he currently presents the Absolute Radio rock and roll football show, Mr. Matt Ford. So yeah, he's on tonight at 9 p.m. talking about his book, Politically Homeless. So yeah, you can check that out on comedybookfest.com. Why do I have to keep looking it up each time? Why can't I just remember it? Then tomorrow at 5 p.m., Tim Key is going to be talking. At 7 p.m., you've got Mark Watson. At 9 p.m., you've got Grace Campbell. Okay. On Wednesday the 18th, we've got Irish writer Caoimhe MacDonald. Caoimhe is an unusual name. You don't hear that too often. Caoimhe. It's an Irish name, a Gaelic name, I guess. Caoimhe MacDonald is going to be on at 5 p.m. Then at 7 p.m., you've got Laura Lex. At 9 p.m., you've got Gary Delaney. And yeah, this is just, each one of these comedians is going to be on. They're going to be talking about books that they've written, and they may or may not be interviewed by different people, but it's basically like it's a lot of really interesting talks that you can attend on the Comedy laughtbookfest.com website. So make sure you check that out. And on Thursday, they've got Victoria Wood at 7 p.m. Richard Herring is at 9 p.m. And then Friday, they've got Andy Hamilton at 7 p.m. Andrew Hankinson. Don't applaud, either laugh. Don't applaud, either laugh or don't. That is his book. Don't applaud, either laugh or don't. That is his book. And it's all about the Comedy Cellar. The Comedy Cellar, the very famous Comedy Cellar in New York City. This place is so well known. There's been so many comedians that have performed at the Comedy Cellar. I think it's probably one of the most famous comedy clubs in the world. I would compare it to something like the Comedy Store or something like that. It's really, really well known. And if anyone who's anyone in the comedy world has performed there at one stage or another. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. The Comedy Cellar. It's called Don't Applaud, Either Laugh or Don't. Don't applaud, either laugh or don't. We're going to be talking about Andrew Hankinson's book right after this short break. Please join us then for more art and spirituality.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaksmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the show today. It's been an interesting one. It's been a different one today. We had a comedian on, Mr. Brandon Burke, American comedian, actor, and writer. And we've just been talking all about different live events that are going on the internet right now. There's a bunch of different live events going on and some interactive events as well that you can do other than just watching TV and movies, which is, it's nice to have a break. It's nice to interact and do some other things if you can. I was talking about being more patient as well in the house and being more patient with my housemates and things like that. I got another message from Ivor in Dublin, our listener over there in Dublin, and he says, in a house share, when people don't clean packaging, it can be annoying because the whole lot is contaminated. This is so true, so true. I'm curious to know: do you wash out your recycling? Do you wash out your recycling before you put it in the recycling bin? Because it's true. If you don't wash it out, that can't be recycled. It just basically that just ends up in landfill. I think your jars, your trays, your plastic containers, everything that you're putting in the recycling has to be washed out. If you don't wash it out, it just ends up in landfill. He says, or when they just chuck plastic in the bin. Yes, that is very annoying. He goes on to say, are nappies in the recycling? That's true. You definitely can't recycle nappies either. And then he says, um, are or don't in terms of nappy in recycling bins, don't do it. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I think when people don't recycle properly in general, it is quite frustrating. I have to say that I take things out of the recycling bin if they haven't been cleaned, and I just wash them. Yeah, that's what I like to do, because otherwise, these things can't be recycled. Bottom line. Folks, we were talking a little bit before the break about this comedy book festival that's going on right now. I was giving you a rundown, a very quick rundown of all of the different comedy writers that are going to be doing interviews and talks about their books this week. Basically, it started last night, and all this week, there's various comedians talking about their books on the Comedy Book Fest website. So be sure to go over to the Comedy Book Fest website and check them out. And there's just a whole assortment of different stuff happening this week. And the tickets are really, really reasonably priced, I have to say. They're only like £8, some of them. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking them out. This book by Andrew Hankinson, Don't Applaud, Either Laugh or Don't, sounds like a really good book. It's about the Comedy Cellar in New York, and he interviews the owner of the Comedy Cellar. He interviews comedians, and he also interviews audience in the book. And now some of the famous people that have performed in the Comedy Cellar, of course, Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Amy Schumer, they've all performed there. And basically in the book, he's talking about, he says, how does a New York taxi driver born in Tel Aviv create comedy's most important stage? I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I want to check that out. That's, by the way, that's on Friday night at 7 p.m. That talk. So yeah, that's go and check that out. Saturday, you've got Ariane Shireen, Tanya Moore at 7 p.m. Ariane Shireen is on at 5 p.m. on Saturday. And then on 9 p.m. on Saturday, Tanya Moore, who's a brilliant comedian, British comedian, talks to industry activists, Black Writers Guild, co-founder of Think Like a White Man, Nils Abbey, okay, SAC book publisher and activist Lynn Gaspard, and Aliyah Galmani from writers development agency Spread the Word. They are going to be talking about how they tackle systematic inequality while raising up writers of color. So that's on Saturday at 9 p.m. if you want to check that out. And then on Sunday the 22nd, you've got Ian Stone. Is going to be talking at 5 p.m. Lynn Ruth Miller is talking at 7 p.m. And at 9 p.m., you've got Arthur Matthews. Okay, so that's just a list of all of the different comedians, writers that are going to be talking at this comedy book festival. And the website again is comedybookfest.com. So make sure you go and check that out. That's all the information I'm going to be imparting to you today. But I'd love to hear from you if you are a comedian, a writer, someone in the arts, or maybe you're not. Maybe you've never worked in the arts, but it's something that perhaps you're becoming more inspired to do. Did the first lockdown or did the second lockdown inspire you? Did you get inspired? Did you get more in spirit, less connected with the beta wavelengths, the hamster wheel of life. Get up, go to work, brush my teeth, wash my hair, eat my porridge, and more connected with the alpha wavelengths of making music, making art, singing and dancing, and maybe painting or drawing or just writing something. Did the first lockdown inspire you? Did it get you more in spirit? And now that we're in the second lockdown, are you inspired? What are you getting inspiration from right now? I was in the post office the other day. I was posting off a few books to some family and friends, and I saw a packet of charcoal pencils. And you know what? I got inspired in that moment. I thought to myself, I'm going to buy them, and I'm going to buy a little journal as well, and I'm going to do some sketching with those charcoal pencils. I'm not a painter. I never have been. It's not something that I ever considered myself to be good at. But I read this really cool book on travel. It's a really cool travel book, and it said if you find yourself somewhere and you're waiting and you find yourself, having to kind of pass the time while you're waiting for something, if you take out a little journal and you have some a pencil or even a pen and you just draw your surroundings, it can be quite a cathartic experience. It can be quite a cathartic practice. It can be quite a meditative exercise and a really nice way to be in the present moment and pass the time. So yeah, I bought these charcoal pencils and I haven't used them yet, but I also bought a couple of journals. I bought this one here, which I have today, which I have to say, as you can see, it's much thinner, it's much lighter than the one I was using, which is nice. And I bought this other one, this pink one, which I'm going to use for drawing, for doing some drawing and doing some sketching some things. They say painters say that when you're drawing. I remember Anna Masota, if you're listening, Anna, hi Anna. I remember when Anna was on the show last month, she was saying that the charcoal is like an extension of her fingers. So, and I can believe that. I can believe that when you start to create with something which is very malleable, you can really start to feel the connection with what you're doing. I kind of get that a little bit with pens as well. When I use a pen to write, if it writes really nicely and I'm writing something with the pen, sometimes I kind of go into it. Like I find myself kind of really really kind of going into the pen. Does that make sense? Like I'm writing words, I'm writing letters, and the ink is flowing and my hand is moving. Almost, it's almost a spiritual experience because at that moment you're in you're in the alpha wavelength. You've disconnected from the beta wavelength, and you've connected with the alpha. And at that moment, you're connected with the creative part of your brain. And yeah, you're not really thinking about it. You're just kind of writing, or just creating. And yeah, I think people have that when they sing, when they dance. People get that. So yeah, as you go out into your week, I say to you, have a sing in the shower, have a dance in your kitchen, pick up a pen, draw the tree in the back garden, or maybe write a letter to a family member, and post it off. This is a lovely time to be using the post and receiving things in the post, especially now that we can't be with our family and friends in person. It's a really nice opportunity to actually send something off via post and then for somebody to receive it. Well, this has been a great show today. Thanks you for joining us. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to be back on Wednesday, where we're going to be interviewing. I say we, it's going to be me. I'm going to be interviewing Fraser Blacksland, who is an English actor, voiceover artist, motion capture performer, performance coach, and director. So he's going to be joining us via phone on Wednesday at 2 p.m. I hope you can join us then for more art and spirituality. I'm Dominic Anglim. Cheers for joining us today. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ